My name's Scott Markewitz. I'm an action sports and outdoor photographer based in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've been shooting for over 30 years. Hoshi reached out to me with this project, this idea for CODEX Wallbooks, and I was really excited to be able to create something that highlights, some of my favorite shots. And the theme for my specific book is like legends and icons of skiing and mountain biking. So it's cool to go back in time and look at some of these amazing moments, working with incredible athletes, in the past, and pulling out some of my all-time favorite images and compiling them in one book is pretty cool. CODEX Wallbooks are presentation books that you can either mount on the wall or display on a table or a desktop, and they're a great way to showcase your photography. Here's a couple of shots I shot on infrared film back in the film days. Richie Schley on the bike and Mike Douglas on skis. Just like the really cool visual effect with the sun flare behind in the deep, rich blue. Here's a couple of true legends of the sport. Trevor Peterson on the left and Glenn Plake with his mohawk on the right, just both flying with their signature styles, and they were definitely icons of their sports. Here's a couple of my all-time favorites. It's Paul Basagoisha on the left doing a Superman seat grab on his mountain bike, and Colby West doing a big mute grab, spin up in Alaska. Well, what works really well with these two images together is obviously like kind of the time of day, with the blue light and the dusk, and the sun's basically already down or almost down, and it's just and the lines work really well together. You can see like these horizontal lines match up, these horizontal lines match up, and the tones and colors in the images work together really well. And then you have the strobe on each of them to like really pop the athlete up in the air doing a big trick. Here's a couple shots of two skiing legends up in Alaska, Mike Hatrip on the left and Jeremy Novus on the right, both skiing in front of some big ice features up in Alaska, and some pretty iconic moments behind the lens for sure. This is an interesting pair of images, just the way they work together with the light hole in the middle and, the blue space on the left here, and, Richie jumping through the sky and Gordy silhouetted against the opening of the cave. These images just make an interesting combo. And here's a couple more really interesting images shot on completely opposite ends of the world. This is Mike Douglas and Sammy Carlson in Japan on the left, and Wade Simmons in France on the right. And I guess what makes these cool is they're silhouettes with some bright sun flare, but also a very special black and white film, like a sepia film, that makes it gives it a pretty cool effect. What's cool about these two images is just two people charging in each of them. It's Brandon Semenuk and Nico Vink on the left, and Trevor Peterson and Eric Peyoda in Alaska on the right. And they're both just working together, making their way, charging down the mountain and having a great time doing it. What I really like about these two images is not only their black and whites, but just the lines and the shapes that, and the textures that are in each of them. Matt Hunter on his mountain bike in Peru, and Henrik Winstedt skiing down this classic spine in Alaska. But just that's, just they work together with just the whole graphic elements going on here. These two images make a really interesting combo. It's just, the lines of the trees, although they're shot very differently, they kind of work together pretty well. Like the one on the right of Kurt Voorhees is a strobe pan through the trees with, slow motion shutter. And, the shot of Kyle Jamison jumping over me. But the way the lines of the trees all work together is, makes a pretty cool composition. Whenever anyone asks me what my favorite image is, the shot of Dave Watson jumping over the Tour de France always comes up. It's just, it's not only the image itself, but also the backstory behind it, how we made it happen, completely underground, no one knew about it, and we pulled off one of the, you know, most iconic moments in freeride mountain bike history. Well, these two images are very different, but at the same time, you know, they show kind of capture a big mountain vibe with a big feature and a small rider. One's mountain biking in Moab with Richie Slay, and on the left it's Jeremy Novus, you know, racing down a big feature in Alaska, you know, shredding it. Here's another mountain bike ski combo that I really like. The shot of Brandon Semenuk on the left is probably my favorite Rampage image that I've shot, and shot of Julian Carr on the right, also one of my favorites. And the fisheye lens gives it a really interesting perspective, and you know, it almost is like you're shooting out of a hole. These two shots were both shot on the same jump in Alaska, just from different viewpoints. One on the left's from a helicopter and the one on the right's from the ground. And the interesting thing about this shot is I'd actually seen this roller 2 days earlier. We were out shooting a different jump, and I told the crew, oh, we got to go back. We got to build a jump there. So we went back, spent all day building the jump, and did these shots, and it came out exactly as I pictured it the 2 days earlier. So here's a couple shots shot at night, obviously. Brandon Semenuk on the left, riding a ridge in Virgin, Utah, and then Bobby Brown at the X Games during the big air competition. These are both shot with natural available light. There was no additional light added, just kind of what I had to work with, and you know, came out with some pretty interesting images. Yeah, when I'm out shooting, I'm always thinking about the light. Years ago, I said in an interview that there's no such thing as bad light, and I truly believe that. You know, whatever situation you're in, you can always make a shot work and figure out the best lighting possible for whatever the conditions are, and come up with a great shot. So it's been quite a journey along the way, and definitely you know, living my dream, and couldn't ask for anything better.